Hello there again, it's Morgan. So in this video, I wanted to talk a bit about skin to skin. So a lot of our mamas hear about the benefits of skin to skin of right after a baby is born. Baby's brought up to mom's chest and helps transition from inside the womb to this outside environment. But the benefits of skin to skin last for the first several days to even weeks of life. As I mentioned in the previous video, historically speaking, of why the baby should be there is it helps with protection for baby as well as control of mom's bleeding. But there's three other cool things that happen as well when the baby is kept skin to skin. One of them is thermoregulation. Even in onesies and blankets and everything like that, a baby still has to create a little bit of its own body heat to be trapped inside the blankets and onesies and clothing to warm itself. When that little one is skin to skin with either mom or dad, the mom or dad's body is going to do that mostly for the baby, and the baby can save that energy. Okay, so it doesn't have to burn a lot of calories to stay warm. Burning calories makes lower blood sugar, makes higher weight loss. Second cool thing that happens is that babies sleep better. Now, if you think about it, that baby was kept inside the mom up until delivery. So the mom's body is literally all that baby knows. It does not know where it ends and mom begins. They've been one entity for so long. So if you've ever had those moms that go, or dads, that go, baby's fed, baby's changed, baby's wrapped up in blankets, but as soon as we put the baby down, it wakes up or it starts to cry. What could my baby possibly need? The reason because that, I call it, is newborn anxiety. It literally does not know where the heck it is. It goes like, what is this hard thing behind me? What is this stuff wrapped around me? Where is my mom? Where is the environment I know? Mom, are you still there? And they start to call out. Okay. But by being skin to skin, that baby's going to feel that safe and protected. It's going to be as close to going home as it can possibly be. By being skin to skin, it will feel warm. It'll feel the rhythmic breathing. When the mom or dad talks, they feel that vibration. Everything about, and then with mom, they smell the milk and they hear the heartbeat and all these other things that remind them of what it was like when they were back in the womb. So they feel comforted. So babies that are kept skin to skin, they don't cry as much and they sleep better. Now, of course, going back to calories, a crying baby and a fussy baby is then burning more calories, okay? So we want to reserve those calories. That baby has a lot of growing to do, so we want to save those calories. The third thing is that the baby is in the breastaurant area, okay, and can nurse on demand. It can sense the food and can nurse easier. And mom has and dad have a bird's eye view of those feeding cues. So as soon as any of those feeding cues are seen, that baby is not even delayed, it's just boom, latched on. Okay, and this goes in with early feeding cues. By being skin to skin, the cheek that's on the chest is going to then turn due to that root reflex as soon as baby's instincts are sparked in order to eat. Now in a different video, I'll go in more depth into feeding cues, but that is the early feeding cue. Early feeding cues are more instinctual based, and that little one has that root reflex where you tickle the cheek and it turns that direction. If the baby is skin to skin, as soon as the instincts start to rise, it triggers the reflex. That baby then turns towards the chest because its cheek is already on mom's chest. And then mom will recognize that as a feeding cue, and the baby is not even delayed, it is boom, put to breast. So babies breastfeed more often, and parents are more keen to the feeding cues when that baby is skin to skin. And then that is how mom and dad can get the most sleep as well. When mom is feeding, baby is skin to skin with mom. When baby is out cold, that's when baby is skin to skin with dad, and mom can get some sleep. Now, breastfeeding is exhausting no matter what. Heck, even formula feeding a newborn is going to be exhausting. So these parents are going to be physically exhausted. What skin to skin can help save them is some mental exhaustion. By that, I mean that there's a whole other level of exhaustion whenever you're fighting your baby to eat, when baby is crying and fussing and won't take it and things like that. So by swaddling up, by keeping in bassinets, things like that, babies are more likely to be in higher feeding cues when put to breast. And so they're more difficult to feed feeds take longer, babies don't fall asleep as quickly, and so there is then that extra level of mental exhaustion as well. So by being skin to skin between mom and dad, nursing on demand, it will be physically exhausting, but mom's milk supply comes in sooner, baby stays calmer, mom knows that she's doing what she needs to do to encourage that milk supply to come in, and she can see her nice content baby versus a crying baby at her. Okay. And then as I mentioned with calories in, calories out, the more calories we can save for this baby, the less fussy that they are going to be to eat because they're not burning off calories that they then need to be replacing by eating. And then for our low chem babies, our late preterm babies or SGA babies that don't have a lot of brown fat or extra energy to burn, those constant doses of feeding by being skin to skin helps with that balance of that caloric intake. And then also babies that are kept skin to skin don't necessarily, or a lot of times don't lose as much weight in those first few days as babies that aren't, because they aren't spending as much calories and they're getting more calories in. So I like to think of skin to skin as the calorie saving place, and it helps protect that balance and helps that roller coaster ride of feeding and sleeping and things like that just go a little bit smoother. So it's where baby is designed from a historical point, where the baby's supposed to be, and biologically it just helps that breastfeeding go off to that much easier start the more that baby can be direct skin to skin with mom and dad. Okay, hope that helps, and hope your patients get excited about doing that skin to skin, especially when you promise that they can probably sleep a little bit more. I'll see you around at the next video.